Right now, somewhere in the world, a person is sitting in a perfectly comfortable chair, food in the fridge, roof overhead, every piece of human entertainment ever created available on the device in their pocket. And they are bored. Here's what's strange about that feeling, and the one you've had 1,000 times and never thought to question. It may be the same feeling that produced art, music, storytelling, shared belief, and eventually civilization itself. Not as a metaphor. As a possibility the evidence keeps pointing toward. Same brain, same restlessness, 40,000 years apart. And here's what a Stone Age human did with that feeling. They may have started a chain reaction that changed everything. We have a very specific story we tell ourselves about Stone Age life. Brutal, short, terrifying. Every waking hour a desperate scramble for survival. That story leaves out something important. In the 1960s, anthropologist Richard Lee studied one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer communities on Earth and measured something nobody had precisely measured before. How many hours a week they actually worked. In the communities he studied, the answer was roughly 15 to 20 hours a week. The rest of the day was often simply time. Time to talk. Time to wander. Time to think. Boredom is not the absence of things to do. Boredom is a signal. Researchers studying its psychology found that boredom creates a motivation to seek new experiences, a drive toward change, even when change brings discomfort. It is an aggressively dissatisfying state, not apathy, not rest, something the brain is actively motivated to end. And when that signal fires, something remarkable happens. Neuroscientists have identified what they call the default mode network, a system that activates specifically when you have nothing to do. No task, no input, no demand on your attention. This network is associated with imagination, creative thought, and the ability to picture things that don't yet exist. The bored mind doesn't go quiet. It starts asking questions. What if this looked different? What if that sound meant something? What if I drew what I saw today on the wall behind me? So what did Stone Age humans do with all that time? We know more than most people expect, because they left things behind. There is a sculpture called the Lion Man, found in a cave in southern Germany, a creature that is part human, part lion, something that has never existed in the natural world. It came entirely from someone's imagination. Researchers estimate that carving it using only Stone Age tools would have taken more than 400 hours. 400 hours. The sculpture could not be eaten, could not be used as a weapon, could not shelter anyone from the cold. Someone spent 400 hours making something that would never help them survive. They made it because they had time. And because the restless human brain, left to itself, creates. We find this pattern everywhere. Cave paintings across more than 200 sites. In France, Spain, Indonesia, Argentina, South Africa, cultures separated by oceans and thousands of years, with no known contact, all doing the same thing, making images on walls. Some of the oldest known bone flutes date back more than 40,000 years. Music before agriculture, music before cities, music before writing. The need to make music arrived in the human brain long before we had any infrastructure to support it. But the most significant thing boredom may have produced wasn't an object. It happened at night, around a fire. Anthropologist Polly Visner spent 40 years studying the Jusun Bushmen of Botswana and Namibia, recording hundreds of conversations during the day and at night, then comparing them. During the day, 3/4 of conversations were practical, work, food, problems. At night, around the fire, more than 80% involved stories, not instructions, stories. Here's why that matters. Controlled fire dramatically extended human activity past sunset. Before fire, darkness meant stillness, silence, and sleep. Fire created hours. Warm, relatively safe hours, with no survival task attached to them, and humans filled those hours with imagination. Every story told around that fire was a survival tool wearing a disguise. Geographic knowledge dressed as adventure. Social values dressed as consequence. Warnings dressed as myth. Research suggests that skilled storytellers were preferred social partners, people with wider networks and greater influence within their groups. The ability to hold a group's attention around a fire wasn't simply a talent. It may have been a survival advantage, and survival advantages get passed on. Here's what all of this points toward. We assume civilization came first, that art, music, and stories were luxuries that emerged once survival was handled, products of stability, not causes of it. The evidence suggests the opposite. The Lion Man is 40,000 years old. The oldest known cities are around 10,000 years old. Music is at least 60,000 years old. Humans were making complex, imaginative, unnecessary things tens of thousands of years before they built their first city. And those things may be precisely why cities eventually got built at all. The stories told around the fire may have helped create shared beliefs. Shared beliefs can help strangers trust one another, and trust makes large-scale cooperation possible. Many researchers believe that cooperation on that scale played a major role in the development of agriculture, trade, architecture, and law. Every empire that ever rose, every religion that ever gave people a reason to cooperate, every scientific discovery, every piece of music that made a stranger feel less alone in the dark. Somewhere at the root of all of it, a human being sitting still, feeling the unbearable restlessness of a brain with nothing to do, asking the same question that may have driven this species since before we had words for it. What if I tried something different? We live in the only era of human history where boredom has been nearly eliminated. The average person today never has to sit with an empty mind for more than 30 seconds. There's always a screen, always a notification, always something arriving to fill the gap before the gap becomes uncomfortable. We have engineered boredom out of existence. And yet the research says something worth sitting with. People who allow themselves to be bored, who stay in the discomfort instead of immediately filling it, tend to be more creative, more innovative, more capable of generating ideas that matter. The default mode network, the system that activates when you have nothing to do, is associated with imagination, empathy, and the ability to connect unrelated ideas into something new. Your brain built its most powerful creative system specifically for the moments when you have nothing to do. Stone Age humans couldn't escape boredom. Every silent evening, nothing but firelight and the sound of people breathing, was raw material for a brain with nowhere else to go. We can't escape distraction. One condition they have helped create art, music, stories, shared belief, and eventually civilization itself. The other rarely gives us enough silence to discover what we might create next.